All right, how's everybody doing today? Hotep. Hey, this is Michael Imhotep, founder of the African History Network, host of the African History Network show. I'm a talk show host, researcher, lecturer, and writer. It is Thursday, September 19th, 2019, and we are live. And you see I'm here with a very, very beautiful and intelligent guest, the one and only Kenya K. Stevens of the Progressive Love Academy. How you doing today, Kenya?
I am great. How are you, Michael Imhotep?
I'm all right. Good to see you again. So those that saw my Sunday night show, the African History Network show, you know, Kenya was one of my panelists of sisters. And we discussed Nicki Minaj's comments about a past abusive relationship and how she thought love had to hurt. So if you missed that broadcast, follow us at the African History Network on Facebook. Click on videos, go watch that. That was from the 15th, I think that was September 15th, Sunday. And on my YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, I-M-H-O-T-E-P. Well, we're going to talk about two important topics here today with Kenya. We saw a lot of people are commenting on Fantasia's recent comments on the Breakfast Club, dealing with how she feels that women need to submit to their men. And Kenya is a relationship expert, love coach, author, etc. And then also we're going to talk about a special program they have from the Progressive Love Academy, Way Konda Sun Manifestation Initiation, which allows you to harness your 9 superpowers. But very quickly, for those that may not be familiar with Kenya, okay, Kenya K. Stevens is the founder and CEO of the Progressive Love Academy. She considers herself a love shaman. She is a relationships expert, love coach, best-selling author, wife, and mother of 3. Now, you may have seen her on her and her husband Carl on Dr. Phil's show, okay, Dr. Phil on TV. You may have heard her on the Michael Baston show a number of times, Michael Baston radio show, and I've had her a number of times on the African History Network show also. Now, Kenya attended Howard University, HU, in Washington, D.C., where she graduated in 1997 with a degree in education and child psychology. And we know Howard is alpha chapter for a number of fraternities and sororities like Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, Maafa fraternity. All right. Not only did she scoop up a degree, but she also met and married a fellow Howard student, Carl Stevens. They now live in the mountains of North Carolina, raising 2 of their 3 children while supporting couples worldwide as expert relationship consultants. All right. And their website is progressiveloveacademy.com, progressiveloveacademy.com. Okay. So Kenya, you know, I saw some things about Fantasia, okay, on social media, what she said. And then I saw your Facebook post this morning. It came across my timeline. And your Facebook post said, "Dear Fantasia, I'm submissive to all of my men." Okay. All right. So already, so let's see, you posted that 4 hours ago. It's gotten over 60 likes and it's gotten some comments. Okay. So you said, so that for some people, that's a little perplexing where you say you are submissive to all of your men. All right. So what I want to do here, I'm going to get you to comment, but what I want to do, she was on the Breakfast Club on September 16th. I want to play this 2-minute clip here for everybody so they can actually hear what happened. And then I'm going to get you to comment on this. Okay. All right. So
sounds good.
So just a second here. Let's go to this clip here from the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, because we need more of that. You know what I mean? We need more men to stand up and lead the way. Most women are trying to be the leader. That's why you can't find a man. You can't be the king in the house. Fall back and be the queen and let your man lead the way. So I salute you for that. What does that mean? You can't be a leader. A lot of women look at that like, no, you know, I can lead in my household. I can do this in my household. What does that mean? That's not how it's supposed to be. And that's why we bump heads. And I feel like it's a generational thing. And we can talk, we can go real deep on that. I don't need to start that, but it's a generational curse and how society have placed our men. And women have to stand up and be the mother and the father and the provider. And so then now you are so bad, so you can't be told nothing, that when the right man come, you lose him because you're trying to be the man. I was going to say, right, man. Can we be equal? Oh, of course. But see, at the end of the day, I'm the neck, my man's the head. So he can't make any moves without his wife. You know what I mean? It all works together. But you can't be the head of the house. You got to let the man be the head of the house. But it's a generational thing, and it's what we've been taught. Stand up, be strong, be the, you know what I mean? And a dude come and Everything about you is like a man.
Sometimes we have no choice, though.
But that's why I was saying it's a generational thing, and that's what society has. They do that on purpose.
So you think women have to fall back a little for their man? Is that what you think?
You have to learn how to submit. You can still be a queen. Queen plays a part. The king needs his queen. There's certain things that he can't see that we see.
Some people would say the queen is the most valuable piece on the board.
Come on, anybody play chess?
Yeah.
Okay, my
The king
husband's
can't
teaching
move
me
like
how
the
to play
queen
chess. Yeah, I mean, it's we work together, but the queen has to sit back and allow her king to be the king.
And what about in a situation where a woman makes more money in a relationship?
That's hard because that's when jealousy starts coming in. That's when, you know what I mean? And that goes back to communicating and prayer. Because if a woman, you know, if you're solid, you know who you are, you know what you bring to the table. A lot of times money breaks up relationships. Money is the root of all evil. It is. So everybody's thinking about the wrong things. Instead of falling back and sitting and saying, let's play chess together. I got you. You got me. Let's go.
But you know, in a relationship, a lot of times, especially, you know, with
Okay, so that was a clip from the Breakfast Club. It has a lot of people talking. And then a couple of days after that, this is a 2-minute clip here, Fantasia and her husband did a quick clip on Instagram to explain what they were talking about. This is a talk with the Taylors, the science of submission. So I just want to play this right here, just for further clarification. Then I'm going to get you to respond, Kenya. Okay. So just a second here. Let's listen to this one.
Submission is supposed to be a beautiful song and dance between two lovers. What's happened is men have abused that power. Forgive me, they've abused that gift. And we have been misled to think that it's something where it's a dominant spirit and we own every decision, we dictate everything, we rule with an iron fist. First of all, that's not love. What happens is,
okay, so that was just a quick clip, but they were giving some further clarification. So, what is your response? What were you saying when you posted what you posted on your Facebook page?
Well, I was just stating what I've stated for the past 14 years here at the Progressive Love Academy. I love submission to the masculine, and I don't understand what the problem is with her comments, except that it's a real challenge to understand relationships. And I think what women are maybe protesting about with that submission piece is that men don't seem to understand the power of the feminine. So we have a whole system here at Progressive Love Academy where we understand that the masculine, or the archetype that we call monk, sets the objectives for the family. That's setting the objectives. And the feminine says how those objectives can be accomplished. So that's the what and the how. That's a balance of power. So, right. You know, in submission, there's also dominance. Dominance means I'm accountable. I'm responsible. I am managerial. I'm the CEO of this house. That's what the dominant is supposed to be. And that's great. I need that because I don't want to be doing all that kind of work. My work is more internal to bring about how we can accomplish this objective that the masculine has set forth. I just don't believe that we have learned the power of the feminine enough for us to talk about the power of the masculine. You understand?
Absolutely. And you know, her husband in the second clip, he talked about how a woman submitting to her man does not mean that the man rules with an iron fist. They work together. And a lot, you know, when we talked about this a little bit Sunday night, we can get deeper into it here. A lot of what we know, or the majority of, in general, for Americans, especially African Americans, the majority of what we know about relationships, about love, about marriage comes out of this Western European culture. Okay. And a lot of what we know is fed to us through the media. So our concepts of love, I'm head over heels in love. Love at first sight. Okay, why you just?
I was just thinking of love.
Love at first sight. I love you so much I can't breathe, I can't sleep, I can't eat. Things like this. So it's a lot of what we know about love, and then relationships. We see them in movies, we see them on television, etc. And we see in this society, historically the feminine principle being subjugated, the feminine principle being oppressed. Okay. So a lot of this we bring into our relationships, even as African Americans, we bring these predetermined roles coming from a European Western society into our relationships. So when you talk about submit or submission, explain to people exactly what do you mean by that?
Okay, so the feminine energetic, it's not a singular energetic, it's a spectrum of energies when we talk about feminine. The feminine energetic is equally powerful, yet differently powered.
Right.
So because the Western aesthetic doesn't recognize the power of the feminine, for instance, a masculine, one of the masculine spectrum energetics can hit you and you're hurt. The feminine aspect of life can say some words and you hurt, but you equally hurt.
Right.
Now you may say, oh, but that's just internal. Your ego's hurt. No, I can change the pH of your blood with words,
right?
And with my energy. Oh, the feminine is psychic. You understand? She can wash the dishes and be running the water and understand where you were last night. She can figure out everything about you and break you down and know where you need to grow. Right. This is the power of the feminine, and the Western culture doesn't recognize that power. It is equally powerful, yet differently powered. So I don't remember your question, but I think I was speaking to it.
Well, I was saying, what do you mean when you say submit or submission? When we hear, because see, from once again, when we look at this society, right? Historically, when we look at weddings, the woman was the property of the father. So this is why the father gives away the bride to the husband, and the woman becomes the property of the husband. Okay, so what is your definition, or at the Progressive Love Academy, when you talk about submit or submission when it comes to a woman to a man? What do you mean by that?
When I talk about submission, I'm talking about I'm going to be the receiver. Okay. I am now the receiver of energy. Okay. I am, vicariously giving, and now I'm actively receiving. If I'm submitting to a man, that means I'm actively receiving his care, actively receiving his kindness, actively receiving his leadership, actively receiving his goals and objectives to plant inside of me, and I am the birther. I can birth his dreams. I'm going to receive his energy. I'm going to receive his goodness. I'm going to receive his respect. So submission just means I'm the receiver. Dominance means I'm the giver. So if a man wants to be dominant, that means he's in a giving position. He is giving. He is sharing of himself.
Well, explain that. If he's dominant, he's giving. Explain that.
He's giving care. He's giving accountability. He's giving presence. He's giving sex. He's giving comfort. He's the giver if he is in a dominant position, and I'm the receiver.
Okay,
so that's submission to me.
So when you say dominant, once again, a lot of times coming from this society, we hear dominant. That means the man controls the woman. That means the woman doesn't have any say. We hear those terms, barefoot and pregnant, things like this. This is coming back from this whole European Western society. But when you say the man's role is to be dominant, it is totally different. It's a totally different concept.
It is and it doesn't have anything to do with a penis or vagina. So I'm in various relationships with men where I'm the dominant. I'm the giver. I'm the teacher. I set the objectives, and they are receiving those objectives and buying in, and they're receiving my goodness. They're receiving my masculine energy. So another issue with Western culture is that we think man equals masculine, woman equals feminine. No, all humans have both masculine, feminine, and androgynous spectrum. So which one am I going to utilize in a given relationship? That's what can be determined. And it's determined based on the person's preferences and how you naturally flow with them. So yeah.
Okay.
I like to flow in submission in many of my relationships because I love receiving. I love being on the receiving end, but I can also be on the giving end. So I have both masculine and feminine in me.
Okay. And the clip I played for everyone, check out the article from news1.com, It has the 2 clips there. It has the article, Fantasia gets backlash for saying women need to submit to their men. Okay, so check that out in its entirety. And when they posted this article on their Facebook page, News One's Facebook page, they got a lot of responses. But Fantasia said, quote, "At the end of the day, I'm the neck, my man's the head. He can't make any moves without his wife. You know what I mean? It all works together." Okay, so she's talking about working as a team as opposed to being controlled by a man. That's basically what she's talking about. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this is why I think a lot of people who initially responded to just a headline did not watch the clip, did not fully understand what she's saying. But she also said something that's very interesting, Kenya. She said that it's a generational thing. It's a generational thing where a lot of women today, she talks about how a lot of women, especially African-American women, are raising the children, maybe be a single mother. The father doesn't live with them. Okay. It doesn't mean he's not involved in their lives, or in some cases not involved in their lives. And she said they have to be the mother and the father. Okay. Which to me, from really understanding the roles, to me, I don't think they can be the mother and the father. They can be a mother. It can be a father because they're not a man. But what address the generational issues?
Well, the generational issues are really having to do back with the European, the westernization of our consciousness. Generational, we can't look at our great-great-grandmothers and grandfathers, if we're African-American, and say that they had somehow a better way. Because what they were doing was still adjusting from slavery. Right. So the ways that they were dealing with things was based on survival and scarcity and having to do certain things. And they had taken the playbook of the persons who had enslaved them. So the entire Western relationship setup is not, of course, African. It is a Western concept. Marriage and ownership of a woman, ownership of a woman's sexuality, ownership of who can sleep with whom based on this piece of paper with the government or with religion. Christianity is a Western institution. So all of that, I'm not looking at, generational, they knew better somehow. No. Because back at that time, men were allowed to have, outside partnerships, a lover across town. How many grandfathers had a lover over there, a lover over here, a whole nother family across town? So I don't agree with that statement that, the elders, they did something so well or differently. No, they were just adjusting from the westernization.
Right. But, if we look at this historically, and then you all on Facebook and YouTube, you can post your comments also. Everybody share this broadcast on your Facebook page. Invite your friends to tune in. Michael Imhotep, founder of the African History Network, host of the African History Network show. We're speaking with relationship expert and love coach and author, Kenya K. Stevens of the Progressive Love Academy. Coming out of slavery, or even during slavery, we still had a sense of family, even on the plantation. Okay, people have to understand that, and we work to even if loved ones were sold off or father was sold off, things like this. There were other men on the plantation usually that would step up and take the place of that man. Father those children. We had a sense of family on the plantation. When slavery ends, one of the things that we're doing, in addition to trying to acquire land and things like this, is put the family back together again and find those lost loved ones. We're going across the country trying to find those lost loved ones. And we had very high marriage rates going in the early 1900s, things like this. But a lot of the roles that we had, male, female roles, things like this, were predefined by European culture. Okay. Right. So this is what we have to understand. Now, in previous interviews that I've done with you, you've talked about your training in training as a Kemetic priestess as well. Can you talk about that for a minute also? Give people a little background information on you?
My husband and I got married at age 21. He was 24. And as soon as we got married, we went into priesthood training, which lasted 11 years. So we trained with the Authoriset Society to understand the archetypes. the energies, the fact that we actually, God or goddess is within us. It's not outside of us. And really, it's God, goddess that defines these masculine, feminine, quote unquote, archetypes or energies or deities. So if we don't have knowledge, if Africans of in America today don't have knowledge of these original concepts where masculinity and femininity might stem from, then we don't really know what masculinity or femininity really means. Femininity doesn't mean with a vagina. Masculinity doesn't mean with a penis. There are serious attributes with each of the energetics that you need to understand if you're going to understand what masculinity and femininity is. And that's what we had the privilege to learn during our priesthood training. So for 11 years, we were totally reacculturated, and we understood now what those terms mean so we could enact them in our marriage, which is now a 24-year marriage.
Okay. Now the Asar Osset Society, when we talk about Kemetic priestess, we're talking about ancient Egypt, one of the original ancient Egypt. Okay, so we're talking about from an African-centered perspective. Is that correct?
Yes, from an African-centered perspective, Egypt houses a cosmogony that's similar to West African cosmogony, like Ifa, Yoruba, or Ifa. Yeah, so all of the African traditions, really all of the worldwide traditions that are not the big three, house this pantheon of energetics that we could categorize into masculine or feminine.
Well, the Yoruba also come from ancient Kemet. They come from the Nile Valley region of Africa. So we have to understand that African people are going to migrate from the Nile Valley region of Africa in the east into Central Africa, into West Africa. The Dogon come from who are in Mali and Burkina Faso, who are expert astronomers. They come from ancient Kemet as well. Okay, so we have to understand this migration. Okay, so this this ties into a program that you all have called Way Konda Sun Manifestation Initiation. Okay, so tell us about this.
Well, what we wanted to do with Way Konda is support current humans in really understanding what we talk about when we're talking about masculinity and femininity. And we do this so that they can have better relationships. Oftentimes we talk about the divorce rate, and there's really no need for this huge divorce rate, except we really don't understand the number one, the purpose of relationship, and then number two, how to make battery between masculinity and femininity. And that's what Fantasia was touching on, except she doesn't really have the language to really educate about what it really means to make battery, or what I call vortex, with masculinity and femininity. So that's what we do in Way Konda. In Way Konda, you can come and know what was happening prior to the Western acculturation, what was happening prior to. And
Kenny, I'm getting a little feedback from you, some little static or something when you say certain words.
Oh no.
Okay.
Okay, let me change.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
I just changed to Yeti stereo microphone. Does that sound a little better?
Yeah, it sounds better.
Oh, good. Okay. So what I was sharing was that we don't have a way to really, I mean, what we created is a way to really teach what was happening prior to the Western way, prior to the Western acculturation, what was going on, and how can we utilize those principles today, practically.
Okay, excellent. Now, a couple quick things just so people understand, because I know people are coming at different levels of understanding of history and African culture and jargon. You talked about African cosmogony.
Yes.
Okay, explain cosmogony, because from my understanding, that's dealing with the cosmogony is dealing with the understanding of the origins of the universe, and that's based upon different cultures. But what exactly is cosmogony as you were referring to it?
Okay, so as you know, persons of African origin have never believed that God, and I put a quote unquote, God is outside of oneself.
Right.
So the whole principle of know thyself, which was found on a lot of the tombs and the ancient artifacts in Kemet or Egypt, know thyself means know that thyself is God, goddess itself. So that is the first understanding of what is cosmogony. Cosmogony explains the self. It explains all of the superpowers that lie within us.
Right.
So many people came into Africa, especially persons of European descent, and said, what are these people doing? They're worshiping all these gods. And they weren't worshiping gods at all. They were expounding upon the superpowers that are within each human. Okay, so there's all these masculine looking superpowers and all these feminine looking superpowers, and they had shrines and altars to them and all the colors and gemstones, and you know, it looked like they were worshiping something like aliens, but that's not what it was. It was that they understood all of these characteristics to be within us. So a deity is not a god in the sky, you know. A deity or an archetype is an explanation of a part of you. One of the things that you might be powerful at, you know. It's similar to astrology, where there's a Cancer and a Leo. You can look at each of those as different gods or goddesses. And oh my gosh, you have that power within you. You're born as a Leo. Oh, you're a lion. Right. Nobody would say, well, you're worshiping a lion. They would say, wow, you understand a part of yourself. And that's all that the African people were doing with deities. Well,
what we look at, you know, one of my teachers, Professor James Small, who's in the Hidden Colors documentaries, and we're in Elementary Genocide Part 3 from director Raheem Shabazz. He talks about how we are God having a human experience. Yes. We're God having a human experience. And when we study different traditional African spiritual systems, whether it's coming out of ancient Kemet or with the Neteru, or we deal with the Orishas of Ifa amongst the Yoruba, you're dealing with different manifestations of that one supreme force. We're dealing with different manifestations of nature, the forces of nature. And so this is what we have to understand. And Europeans misinterpreted what we had, because in these different spiritual systems, they have one supreme force, like Olodumare amongst the Yoruba. They have one supreme force, and then they have the deities that are the emissaries and helpers and things like this. But you had the same thing in Christianity. Yes. Because see, so they took fragments from the periphery of African spiritual systems, especially coming from ancient Kemet, to create Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. And when we look at the story of Asar and Aset, and you can expound on this because you are a priestess, when we look at the story of Asar and Aset, is the Huti, the Neter who of math and science and wisdom, that delivers the Annunciation to Aset, that she's going to give birth to Heru. So look at that. Stop right there. Yeah, go ahead. That is submission. So if we truly understood the story in the Bible of Mary having this immaculate conception, that means that she was submissive to that wisdom from what you're talking about, to Huti, who delivered the information that this was going to happen. So that's a form of submission. Now she got metaphysically pregnant. That's what all we're saying, is that the feminine has the ability to become metaphysically pregnant with a goal. I want a new house. I want a new car. I want a new job. The feminine, if she is receptive and submissive, she can become metaphysically pregnant with that and birth that into reality. This is something that we do every day, except most of us are birthing things we don't want because we don't understand how to use that science. But that's what we share and teach in Way Konda. Exactly. And then, you know, when you deal with the Christian story, it's the angel Gabriel that delivers the Annunciation to the Virgin Mary. And Gabriel is a messenger angel. It's a helper of the Creator as well, of God. You know, so you see, you see the same thing. You see the same thing when you study Christianity and you go back and, you know, you read like Christianity Before Christ by Dr. John G. Jackson. You read Nile Valley Contributions to Civilization by Tony Browder. You see where they're getting these stories from. It's a retelling of these ancient stories coming largely from ancient Kemet, Sumer, Mesopotamia, and they're adapted to other people's cultures and told over and over again around the world. Yep. Okay, so you talk with the Wakanda Sun manifestation initiation. It allows you to harness your 9 superpowers. Okay, so talk about this, because everybody, we've seen the film Black Panther. It did $1.3 billion worldwide. It's a huge film, and I do lectures. I have one lecture that's almost 3 hours dealing with the film Black Panther, how it relates to African history and culture and language, spiritual systems, things like this. But what are the 9 superpowers?
Well, the 9 superpowers are just what you said: the Orisha, the Neteru, the Native American medicine wheel, the Greek pantheon, the Hindi pantheon. They're all the same all over the world, and they're found in the movie The Matrix, and they're found in the movie The Black Panther. So here on the page where you can learn more about Black Panther, we talk about the 4 feminine archetypes, and here they are. You can see them clear as day in the movie. This one to your right here is Aset, or Yemoja, right here. You know, she has the blue on, just like the Virgin Mary, just like Aset. You know, understand? Or Yemoja is always wearing blue.
Okay, you're referring to Angela Bassett's character of
yes.
Ramonda.
Yes,
okay.
She's a mother figure. You know, she is that mothering energy. So she's found in the movie. Also, you see here, the warrior priestess here is Oya, or Sekhmet. You understand? It's somebody we call the conservationist. It's just part of the feminine energetic. And then over here, you see Oshun, or the lover. You know, some people call her Venus, or Ezra-Lee, they call her in Haiti. And so she is in the movie as well. And she's, of course, influencing T'Challa to really be nice, harmonious, to set up things around the world, to be, you know, good and joyous. And then you have the very brilliant woman in the movie who corresponds to Ma'at. You understand? And she is that brilliance of the femininity. She's a strategic scientist, and that is a feminine energetic as well.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
So that's how that works for the feminine. But we also have the masculines in the movie. You have Shango or Horus represented in T'Challa. You have this warrior god here who is Ogun or Herukohute. You understand? Or Thor from Greece. And then you have
in Scandinavia, Thor. Yep.
You have this Eshu Elegua guy. You know, the persons of European descent in the movie represented Elegua, or the negotiator, you know, the trickster. And then you have the monk over here who was dealing with the purple flowers and putting them to sleep and giving them the medicine and healing. And that's like Ifa or Tehuti. So we take those 8 archetypes, and there's one more, 9 in all, and we infuse our members with those energies over the course of one full solar year.
Okay, so 365 days. Yeah. All right, so you talk about the use of sexual life force, or chi, in regards to the superpowers. Okay, so what exactly is this, and how does this work?
So each one of those deities or archetypes that I just talked about has a different form of sex and a different form of sexual power, baby. So I love it, because I love having sex with a man who is all in his warrior. He's Ogun, you know, that's really the raw physical power. But then I love having sex with a man who has his monk, his Ifa, his Tehuti going on. That's a man who's more of a healer during sex. So we take our initiates through those 9 types of sex for the entire year, so that they know how to come from any sexual aspect, not just the ones found in Western pornography, and how to use that sexual energy to manifest things.
So coming from a traditional African cultural perspective, when we look at sexual intercourse, it's not just a physical act. In this society, once again, sex is just physical, it's genitalia, it's feelings, things like this. But from a traditional African spiritual and cultural perspective, it is spiritual, but also you use it to manifest things. Talk about that, because that's an entirely different concept. And a lot of also what we know about sex, especially today, comes from pornography. About 51 to 52% of all internet traffic is to adult websites, and it's totally distorting our concept of sexual relations, sexual intercourse. So talk about that, please.
Well, the Western mind has totally disassociated sex from religion. So when we build WakeAnda and we do our WakeAnda initiation every year, we reintegrate spirituality and sexuality. And we do that by showing how each deity goes about sex. But of course, sex is the vital chi. It's the root chakra being activated so all the rest of the energy can flow up to the crown. A lot of people think, well, I'm just going to be spiritual and I'm not going to deal with the root. Well, the root opens the path of energy up to the spirituality. So that's sort of backwards. And the West doesn't understand that, which is why we live in a culture that seems so childish, so ego-based, you know, because they do not open from the root and allow the energy all the way up to the top. So it's no energy getting to the top. It's no energy hardly in the culture at all, which is why they depend on persons of African descent to bring the energy, to bring the sexual chi, to bring the music, the life force, the jumping, the dancing, the singing. You understand? That's all root chakra stuff. We are a sensual people. And so in WakeAnda, we have people of our race because everybody wants to reactivate their life force and reconnect to the earth and reconnect to the sun and the moon and the systems in the universe. But you do that through your becoming those deities. And that's what we do in WakeAnda. We support you in becoming those deities in your sex life and otherwise.
Okay, so you talked about the root chakra. Now, they're in general, usually they're talking, so the chakras are in general, the 7 energy centers of the body. Yes. Sunday night, you talked about 9 chakras. So explain to people briefly, what are the chakras? Because, you know, in Western society, once again, you don't get this. Now, maybe if you take yoga, and more people are getting into yoga, you start learning about things like this. But then also, if you start getting too deep into yoga, then people start asking, well, does this conflict with my Christianity? So,
right. Because if you get to the root of yoga, you back to tantra. You know, you're back to sexual chi and energizing your sexual life force. But yeah, there are some systems have 7 chakras, some have 14, some have 9. When I talk about the 9 chakras, I'm talking about the 9 basic deities, the 9 basic archetypes that I just showed you on my WakeAnda page. Okay. And opening those means that you're opening all of your talents. So each of the deities has a different talent. For instance, that mother deity I talked about, Angela Bassett's character, she has the ability to go into the dream world and to shift reality just using her meditative powers. That's called having your psychic powers. Okay, but then you have Shango, or the leader energy, who has the ability to manage the world and to look around and find resources and to manage a household, you know? And so a lot of people need to cultivate that leadership energy. The soldier energy is I'm born under a soldier energetic, and that's ability to do stuff physically that nobody else can do. You know, it's like each of these chakras or each of the archetypes has a special power that you can use in your life to you know, to make your life better. Right,
exactly. And then when you talk about manifesting something with sex, you know, I had an ex-girlfriend who understood that, and I've talked to other people who talk about this and teach this. So when you have sex, you focus on what it is you want to bring into existence, whether it's money, whether it's successful career, things like that. Talk about that, because that's an entirely different concept of sex and coming together in a spiritual union, as opposed to what we're taught in Western society. So talk about that manifestation portion of sexual creation or sexual intercourse.
Sure. Well, a lot of people think that, yes, you just focus on what you want during sex, but there are so many components. You can have an orgasm in any one of your chakras. Most of us only have root chakra orgasms, clitoral orgasms, or penis, you know, but you can have an orgasm in your heart chakra. You can have an orgasm in your throat chakra. You can have an orgasm in your crown. And
where is the root chakra?
The root chakra is between, you know, the point at the base of your spine. So down at the bottom for a male, underneath his scrotum, and for women, it's right there between her vagina and her anus. So the root chakra is low. It's at the bottom of the base of the body there. Okay, but you can have orgasms in any of the chakras, and each different one that you focus on, you would focus on a different objective. If I'm working on sex, self-love, I want to have heart chakra orgasms, and I want to be focused on the self-love stuff. If I'm working on seeing what my future is going to hold or shaping my future, I want to be having crown. You know, if I'm working on my basic stability and money, I want to be having root chakra orgasms. So, you know, it's not just, oh, have sex and then no, we teach the actual focus and how to focus there and how to have orgasms in all of those different points. That's the WakeAnda initiation.
Okay, so the WakeAnda initiation is a 365-day program. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so how can people find out more about it? How can people enroll in it?
Well, everything is on my site at Progressive Love Academy, or they can, you know, I have a bit link as well. Maybe you could put up later, but everything.
Well, I'm putting the website link here right now.
Sure. Everything they need to know is here on the website. It's called the Wakanda Sun Manifestation Initiation. They can watch a promo video. It is $97 a month, which is nothing. It costs me $100 to get my nails done every month. Okay.
So that's about a little less than $3 a day.
Right. Let me weigh that. Get my nails done or learn how to do the chakra orgasms. Get my nails done or infuse the archetypes within me. I mean, you know. So so that's the WakeAnda adult initiation. Last year we took 75 people through and they all accomplished their goals. So you get to set one goal for finances, one goal for relationship, and then we take you through the rest. All you have to do is know what you want. And by the end of the 365 days, you will have it. And you will also be infused with the power of these deities and understand how to get your sex and relationship life so on point. It is a beautiful
system. I need to go through that my damn self, but that's a side note. Okay. But
you should.
But you know, you also have testimonials on your website as well, people who've gone through this program. Now, I know that the autumnal equinox is coming up Monday, September 23rd, 3:53 a.m. And you and I talked about this briefly yesterday. Usually you have some type of program or something like that going on with the change of the season. Talk about the importance of the change of the seasons and the significance of the autumnal equinox.
Yeah, so for us, there are only 4 holidays in the entire planet, and that is the 2 solstices and the 2 equinoxes. The reason we call those holidays is because something's happening psychically in your mind under the equinox and the solstices, and we can see that something's happening in the universe because the days are of equal time at the equinoxes, and for the solstices it's the longest day of the year or the shortest day of the year. So for us, those have special significance. We think of New Year's Day as September 21st, the autumn equinox. That's the time to start everything. Think of the farmers. The farmers are now done. The field, the crop had come up. You pick the crop. Understand? Now in September, you're thinking about, what do I want to happen next year? What seeds I'm gonna plant now? Okay, let me get those in before winter. Ooh, in winter, let me nurture those seeds. Ooh, in the summer, now my seeds are coming up. Ooh, now next fall, I have manifestation. So we think of fall equinox as the first day of the new year. That's why we start WakeAnda on September 21st.
Okay, so the new, so it's a 365-day program, and the new program starts up September 21st?
Yes, Saturday.
Okay, now if people, for whatever reason, that they can't start September 21st and they find out about this next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, can they still sign up?
Oh, they can sign up all year, but it's good to start between September 21st and October 21st because that's in alignment with the seasons and the solar seasons.
Okay. And then also we know that this year, so usually the autumnal equinox can be between September 20th to about September 23rd. Usually it's not September 23rd. This year it is. It's going to come 3:53 a.m. So people, you can Google autumnal equinox 2019 and it comes up with that information. And some of the things that you talk about that people will be able to manifest in the WakeAnda adult initiation is manifest one big relationship goal, one big financial goal, come into alignment with your higher self, discover how to speak to your inner source, discover ceremonial work to connect to any of the 9 inner archetypes that you talked about, become deeply orgasmic, joyful, and optimistic, connect with a community of powerful manifestors, stay motivated with your assigned personal coach, complete daily exercises that increase your personal power as well.
Yes, I was opening the Way Konda room here in Facebook. When you join, you are added to our groups here in Facebook, and you can see here that we are on the negotiator season. There are 75 people who did this program this year, and we talk to each other there. We support each other there. But one thing we did is share our successes, and I'll show you some of those success stories without naming the people because I don't want to say who took this.
Oh, sure.
Personal. But in terms of some of the success stories that are in here, we talk about 33 manifestations. That means they talk about the 33 things they manifested, and they list it out. After 365 days, they can list out 33 new things in their life. Okay. And everybody is so happy for them. People start businesses, people get relationships, people got married, people get whatever they want. This person started a bank account for her business. She got 4 investors. She learned how to be in a relationship without being attached. She learned how to have a deeper sexual experience, deeper orgasm. You know, so that's the type of thing that we manifest over here in Way Konda.
So a lot of it has to do with taking the enthusiasm that we see from the film Black Panther, taking what we see on the screen and actually being able to manifest that in our own personal lives.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, you talked about, you know, in the Facebook post that you did dealing with Fantasia, you said, "Dear Fantasia, I'm submissive to all of my men." And then Sunday night, when I interviewed you on my panel dealing with Nicki Minaj's past comments about an abusive relationship, I used to think love had to hurt. You talked about having 2 husbands. Okay. So explain that for people, because for some people, this may go outside the circumference of their own awareness.
All right. Well, I mean, the concept of, we believe that the concept of monogamy is an African concept, and it is just not. There is no ownership of humans in Native American or African and indigenous cultures. So what we have done, again, is superimpose older concepts, indigenous concepts, on the way we do relationships. Mm-hmm. So for us, there's no nuclear family. That's a Western concept. My family is my community. So I have lots of people taking care of my children. I have lots of people taking care of me. I have lots of people taking care of my husband. And that just goes into our polyamorous ideas and beliefs. Now, everybody in Way Konda is not polyamorous, for sure, because it takes time to get there out of Western culture. You can't just jump out of Western culture into a different mindset. But it has taken time. But yes, we are polyamorous, and very happily so. Both of my husbands live here in my house.
Both live there in your house? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. And my husband have had several counterparts of his living with us as well. We just believe in community, and we've gotten there. We've gotten past our ego enough and past our fear enough to live it. Right.
And you know, when you deal with Western society, concepts of marriage, concepts of relationship, there's a concept of ownership. This person belongs to me. Now, how does polyamory differ from a concept of cheating? So because when we look at this society, once again, also we hear it a lot in our music. And you hear about betrayal, you hear about cheating, things like this. How do we compare the two? How do they reconcile?
Well, I don't think that cheating and polyamory reconcile at all. I mean, cheating is the concept of I cannot be authentic with my partner about my needs and desires. Polyamory is I am going to be authentic with my partner about my needs and desires because I know he's still going to respect me. They're still going to love me. You know, we just have a freedom that those in monogamy don't. Now, I really don't like to use monogamy because 66% of American couples today are cheating. Today. Like right now, today. And then 40% of American couples long-term are sexless. So, you know, we have a real problem in American relationships that no one but us is addressing. And that is, we have to be able to be authentic. if at this moment I don't want to have sex with my husband, I need some type of different scenario. I need a younger guy. I need somebody to dote on me. I need some more attention. I need some more affection. Why aren't we saying that? It's not that my husband's not enough. It's that I have more needs than he desires to provide. So why would he leave me if I go get those other needs met as well? There's no reason for him to. So, but that takes a big mind shift. In the West, everything is fear-based. So will they leave?
So, and also we've talked about this before. You're not saying if someone is happy in their relationship and they're with their one partner and they're monogamous, you're not saying if that's working for you, you should not do that. You should do this over here. You're not saying that either.
No, I've been sexually exclusive with some of my boyfriends, even though I was married. I've chosen sexual exclusivity with them for a time. There's nothing wrong with that choice at all. You stay where you are if you're happy where you are. If you want something more, then you have to cultivate that. You have to cultivate those superpowers to get it.
Right.
That's what I have to do.
And the other thing is, very quickly, when we look at traditional African cultural societies, you look at different concepts of marriage. The way, see, one of the mistakes that we make is the way we think things are today is the way things have always been. Right. This is one of the mistakes that we make. When you look at traditional African culture, they had different concepts of what marriage is, different concepts of community, family, things like this. It's not the same as what we have today. So then we think that the Western standard is the standard to judge everything else by. Okay. And that's a mistake also.
Yes.
All right. So let people know once again, for people who want to find out now, Debbie already said she's going to sign up. She says she has to watch the replay later, but she's definitely signing up for WakeAnda. What should people do if they want more information and they want to sign up?
If you would like more information about WakeAnda, you can go to progressiveloveacademy.com and click on memberships. WakeAnda is one of our 4 memberships. progressiveloveacademy.com, that's where you learn about it. If we're not friends on Instagram, go to progressiveloveacademy.com. I'm sorry, Progressive Love Academy on Instagram. That can just be Googled and you can find it. You can also Google WakeAnda. It's spelled like wake up, WakeAnda, WakeAnda.
Exactly. Now you have a new book that just came out also, right?
Yes, I'm so proud of my new book. It's Up Level, and it's a communication system that we also teach in WakeAnda. Because, you know, you cannot do all this sexual stuff with all your partners and not know how to communicate anger to them. I get angry with my husbands all the time. But if I just told him off, remember, that's the feminine abuse. We don't like the masculine abuse of physical. Then don't abuse your man with verbal abuse. So that's a communication system that helps you communicate anything, any anger, any pain, anything without causing an argument. That's what my book is about, up-level communication.
And they can get that from progressiveloveacademy.com also?
They can get that on Amazon.
Amazon. Okay. Then get that. And how many books do you have that you've written, Kenya?
These are my 2 books. I have Change Your Man and Up Level Communication.
Okay. And both are available at Amazon?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Well, look, I know you have to run. I want to thank you for coming on. Again, we had you on Sunday. So everybody go watch. We had a fantastic show Sunday, the African History Network show. I had a panel of 5 women, Dr. Avis Jones, the Weaver, who you see on Roland Martin's show, and you saw on MSNBC, on AM Joy. I had Kenya. I also had Kenda Bale. So Kenda is one of the coaches with the Progressive Love Academy. Also, we had astrologer Kateria Knowles, and you see her videos here on the African History Network. Kateria Knowles, and her sister is Herb Alchemist. Okay, Brittany's my ex-girlfriend as well, but Brittany couldn't make it on. I invited her, but something happened last minute, she couldn't come on. We also had a young sister from Detroit, Sachette. So go watch that. That's from September 15th. That's on our Facebook fan page, the African History Network, and on my YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep. All right, Kenya, well, look, I know you have to run. Thanks for coming on. And you all are doing great work here at the Progressive Love Academy. Tell Carl I said hello also, okay? Okay, I can't hear you. You muted yourself, Kenya. You muted yourself.
I said thank you so much for having me on, and I'm definitely going to share this. This was really fun.
Absolutely. Okay, take care. Have a good day.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. Okay, everybody. Stay on. Hey. And so hopefully you learned a lot from this. Share this broadcast with your friends. We'll have this in audio podcast format also in the next couple of days. You can, all of our videos are in audio podcast format, so you can listen right on your smartphone. If you go to our website, well, anywhere you get your podcast from, search for the African History Network Show, the African History Network Show. Okay. And then we are on Blog Talk Radio. blogtalkradio.com, the African History Network Show. But we're on 8 different podcast platforms also. We're on Acast, iTunes, FM Player, TuneIn, and a lot of people have the TuneIn Radio app on their smartphone, the TuneIn Radio app on their smartphone, which is free. You can download that. So on TuneIn, they have about 300 of my podcasts there. But at Blog Talk Radio, it's almost 1,000. Okay, going back to going back to 2010. All right, so wherever you get we're on Stitcher, we're on Acast, we're on FM Player, TuneIn, and then here we are right here on TuneIn, the African History Network, the African History Network Show. Click right there on TuneIn. Now, TuneIn is a free app. You can listen to MSNBC. So when I'm not at home, when I'm not in the office, I listen to MSNBC through the TuneIn app. You can listen to CNN. You can also, I don't know why, but you can listen to Fox News as well. But here we are right here, the African History Network show, okay, right here on TuneIn, all right? And it's the app you listen right on your phone. And let's see here, and it has the last podcast I uploaded was from September 16th, dealing with the Revolt TV Summit with Killer Mike and T.I., things like that. I talked about that. Okay, so you can listen there as well. We're on iTunes, Castbox, Stitcher, number of different platforms. All right. Be sure to register for the online course that I teach, Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa. Understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa. Understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. That is a 8-week, 16-hour online course that I teach. We deal with thousands of years of history. We normally do that on Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So as soon as you read, so we do the class live. All the classes are recorded. You can go back and watch it over and over again. We do them online. You can ask questions in the live chat. As soon as you register, you can watch classes 1 through 4. There's also about 36 hours of bonus content. So I do a PowerPoint presentation. We have book references, articles, everything, about 50 articles that I reference. It's regularly $130. It's on sale, $80 right now, okay? Ancient Kemet, one of the original names for Egypt. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa. Maafa is a Kiswahili term referring to our Holocaust, the transatlantic slave trade. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school, all right? If you like this type of information, you can donate to the African History Network, paypal.me/the AHN show, paypal.me/the AHN show, or at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. That helps us keep doing the research, stay on the air, pay the bills, helps with having to travel to events, travel out of town and speak at events. So you can donate there. You can set it up for a recurring donation if you want to. Also, you can do a one-time donation or set up for a recurring donation. I will be speaking the weekend of September 27th through the 29th at the All Black National Convention that Dr. Boyce Watkins does in Houston, Texas, the All Black National Convention. I'll be on a panel discussion that Sunday, 9:45 a.m., dealing with power and politics. Visit allblacknationalconvention.com, allblacknationalconvention.com for more information and to register, allblacknationalconvention.com. And I'll have my DVDs with me there also, my DVD lectures. And then I am on the Black Agenda Tour with Michi X. So we will be in, where we're going to be? Oakland, California. Oakland, California, the weekend of October 12th. Visit the blackagendaontour.com, the blackagendaontour.com for more information there. And I do a presentation. I'll be speaking that Saturday. And I do a presentation that was 6 principles of political self-defense, how public policies and laws negatively impact the economic conditions of African Americans. Okay, the Black Agenda on tour.com. Let me look at some more of your comments here. All right, let's see who else we have here. Let's see, this froze up. Why did it do that? All right, and then you can visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. All of my DVD lectures are there, including our latest bundle pack, the 6 DVD bundle pack, the Black Migrations bundle pack, okay? Black Migrations 16, 19, and 2019. Also, if you want to advertise with the African History Network, email us at customer service at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, customer service at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, and we'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network as well, okay? All right, let's see. We got Gigi, Victoria, Fantasia is lucky, period, to have a man like hers that thinks and acts the way he does. To the rest of us, this is just a fantasy. It is very hard. See, it is very hard to find Black men that think at his level of thinking. They take the submit word in a dominating and disrespectful tone. Yeah, that's true. But see, we have to understand where we got it from. Okay, that's what we were taught. Okay, let's see here. Mimi, a lot of men are not worthy of a good woman. Okay, well, a lot of men, a lot of men have to be trained, have to be taught how to receive a good woman. They a lot of men have to be taught how to be husbands. Okay, because this is basically what we're talking about in a relationship. A lot of men have to be taught that you don't just automatically possess those abilities when you reach a certain chronological age. It's something that you have to be taught. If you haven't seen examples of that in like relationships, like with your mother, your father, your uncles, your aunts, things like this, your grandparents, if you haven't seen examples of those correct behaviors being exhibited in relationships among people that you know, you may not even know that exists, or that's a reality, or maybe that's something that white people do. That's not us. That's something that white people do. Okay, if you go watch the panel discussion I did this past Sunday with Kenya and the other sisters, we talked about recent comments from Nicki Minaj, hip hop artist Nicki Minaj, who talked about a past abusive relationship, and she talked about how she thought that love had to hurt. Okay, she was largely saying she didn't see those positive examples of relationships among African Americans. Okay, and she thought that love had to hurt. She thought that basically those types of abusive relationships were in general basically normal. Let me see. There was an article from BlackAmericaWeb.com that talks about this. And Nicki Minaj posted September 3rd, 2019. She posted on, I think it was Twitter. Yeah, she posted on Twitter, when you see a woman in a toxic relationship, rather than laugh and say mean things, try to offer sound advice from your heart and root for her to learn her worth. We've all been there. I saw my parents fight and argue nonstop and never divorce, so I thought this was normal behavior. Okay, so read the article from BlackAmericaWeb.com. Nicki Minaj opens up about past abusive relationship. I used to think love had to hurt. Okay. Okay, Gigi said, no, Michael, none of that is automatic. Okay, yep, absolutely. It has to be taught. Okay, look, hey, we have to get out of here. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's corrects your own behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you've been taught about yourself. What you've been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself. Remember, right now is correct wrong behaviors, not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you next time, and be sure to order the 6 DVD bundle pack, the Black Migrations DVD bundle pack. This has 6 of my latest presentations in there that I've done this year. Okay, and that includes 6 principles of political self-defense. Also includes Black Migration 1619 to 2019, from the birth of a nation to the Red Summer 1919 to the Detroit Race Riot of 1943. All right, so we just posted a link here as well, and it's also available at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. All right, remember, right now is correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. And we'll talk to you next time. Peace.